Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome. I am going to talk a little bit today about the five biggest mistakes that athletes are making in the preseason that kill your confidence. For gymnasts, we are in the fall, we are getting closer and closer to January, which is when the athletes start their season. And it's been much anticipated since we were without half a season last year. So a lot of people are, getting excited, but sort of cautiously optimistic about this upcoming season. So I wanted to talk to that and also see if we can prevent something I've talked about in the past called nervous November. So what I've noticed with a lot of the athletes I'm working with is that they came back from COVID and they were feeling good and they were out of the gym for maybe a couple months or however long. They felt confident, they felt strong, they're getting their skills back, they're feeling good. They're excited. They're just so grateful to be back in the gym and back to practice. Now, if you're not a gymnast, you can probably relate on some level too, that you're like, yes, just to be back with my teammates and practicing this is awesome. Then there's this shift that happens when we go from like, we're not in season, we're just training. This is so fun. We're doing drills, we're hanging out with our friends, coach is laughing, everybody's in a good mood. And then all of a sudden, it's time to get serious. It's time to get really focused. So for gymnasts, you're starting routines. And what happens is you start seeing other people doing their routines and looking good. And you're like, uh-oh, I should be looking better. Or I should be feeling better. I still feel a little shaky. I'm not as confident. I'm not feeling as strong as I would like to be. I'm not having as much fun now because I have to be perfect and I got to hold it together and I got to prove it to the coach that I deserve this. For those of you collegiate gymnasts, like you got to prove your spot on the team. For those of you who are still between levels, you got to prove that you earned that level that they're letting you train or prove that you can get it together to get to that next level that you really want to be a part of. And so what you start to notice is that you are stressed out and you're feeling the pressure and you're worried. Somebody in my house is being loud. Anywho, okay, so that's what's happening for a lot of athletes. What we want to be experiencing instead of this is satisfaction. Like, yeah, I've been training. Yeah, I'm holding it together. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm calm. My confidence is increasing practice by practice. I am happy to be here. I'm excited. Oh my gosh, what if we get to have a season? This is so exciting. So, here is why you're maybe not feeling that way. These are the five top mistakes that athletes make in the preseason or sort of that like just before season starts time period. These are the mistakes you make that take you from excitement and composure and calm confidence to stress and freak out, and then you get inconsistent. Okay, so mistake number one, time is ticking. Thinking about that. Now, I was a coach, and of course, I was like, there are 7 weeks till our first meet. There are 4 practices till our first meet. Are you ready? Coaches like to get really dramatic about this because a lot of coaches are stressed out too. You want to do well. Well, they want you to do well. They want the team to do well. They want to look good. They want you to be happy. There's a lot of emphasis on time. And well, you don't have much time to get that skill and you don't have much time. And so if you're focused on the time that you have left or don't have, or basically if you're focused on time at all, you're setting yourself up for stress. Now think about it. In July, do you think about how much time you have? Maybe. It's in like a favorable way, like, oh, I have so much time. Whereas if you think about, I don't have much time at all, or I'm getting old, or this, all it does is tense you up and stress you out and make your skills actually less consistent. All right. So focusing on time, big mistake. The second one is comparing yourself to others. Now, I know if I tell a 13-year-old, don't compare yourself to other people, like that's your whole job in life basically, is to figure out where do I fall in the social arena. Am I better? Am I worse? Am I stronger? Am I weaker? Am I, whatever? Who am I and where do I fit? So your whole developmental task as an adolescent or a teenager is to compare yourself to others and see where you fit. So to ask you to stop doing that is not going to be an overnight solution, but if you can at least identify that every time you watch your teammate do something well and feel bad about yourself, you are killing your confidence. So we want to just get the focus off of the time, off of what other people are doing. I see this with swimmers. I see this with basically every adolescent or teenage athlete I have ever worked with. Also, even in grown-ups, like business professionals, comparing yourself to others. And I should be here. And what if I don't? Ugh. So that leads us into our third mistake is the what if thinking. What if I don't get this skill? What if I can't compete? What if the meet gets canceled? What if I get hurt? What if blah, 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 blah? That is really not helping. So if you find that you are in the what if you're playing that what if game often, you're not doing yourself any favors and you're just increasing the pressure and the stress. And what you're doing is creating a fake scenario that you're transporting your brain into this fake scenario of you getting hurt or you not being there or you being so disappointed. And you're painting this picture of everything going wrong. So then your brain goes, oh, I don't want to do that. We have to avoid that at all costs. So we don't even want to do a beam routine. We don't even want to do the skill at all because this sounds horrible. So that what if thinking is you're sending yourself into a future reality that does not exist, which is making your brain freak out, which is making your body tense, which is making your skills not consistent. Okay. Number 4 mistake, taking coach stress personally. I mentioned this with the coaches they get all in a wad about we've got seasons coming. We got to be perfect. You got to be perfect every time. And if you take that personally, you're not doing yourself any favors. Coaches get like a lot of them have different methods of motivating. They feel like motivating their athletes. I did this when I was a coach. It was like, we got to work harder, everybody. We are running low on time. We need to be better. We need to be perfect. No, that wasn't good enough. And you don't want to look like that when you're in front of a judge. And a lot of it for me, I'm going to be honest, came from my ego. I wanted to look good. I wanted my team to get the banner. I wanted my team to get the medals. I wanted to be like, oh yeah, I'm with that team. We're the best. And in those moments where I was riding those kids, I was not always thinking about what does this kid need right now? I wasn't always thinking, I think this kid needs a little patience, a little compassion. I think this kid needs a little love, a compliment. I think they need a compliment right now just to keep the motivation going. I was just like, you better make me look good or I'm going to. So I like to think I got better over my years of coaching, but that could be there for some of you athletes. You might have a coach who's like, you need to make me look good or else, or get off my team. You can look at that and go, that is not about me. If you didn't exist, the coach would still have that attitude toward whoever is there. So don't take it personally. Now, the fifth mistake is focusing on the problem. Now, what I mean by that is you're focusing on what's not perfect. So let's say, you're here in this preseason and you're at about 80% of where you'd like to be when you hit the floor at that first meet, or you hit the pool, or when you enter that first competition, you want to be at 100, right? Maybe you're at 80. So if you focus all of your energy on that 20% that's not working, you're going to feel like you're not prepared. You're going to feel like you're not ready. Of course, yeah, you do want to focus on that because that's what you need to improve. But you're going to be better off if you can look at it and go, okay, I'm prepared over here. This is feeling really great. I am so proud of this that's working out. Just to sort of get your laser beam off of what's not good and onto what is going to help to build the motivation and the confidence snowball. So you start with what you have and you're like, ooh, I got a little something. Something's going well. That's good. And then you pick up more and more and more as you go. It allows you to relax. It allows you to flow. It allows you to have fun. And you can still work on the things that need improvement, but you don't shortchange yourself for the progress that you've been making. Okay, so here's what you need to do to fix that problem, those mistakes that you're making. I want you to find your July mindset. Now, what I mean by that, for you gymnasts, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's July. It's like nobody's really in that pressure mode. Everything's bonus. You're just getting better. You're trying new skills. You're kind of playing around with stuff. You're like, ooh, this is kind of fun. What if I try that? So if you want to be in that July mindset all the time, which that I'm going to tell you, that's what I would recommend, is that athletes who get into that, like, okay, I got to be so focused mindset. Those are the athletes who are not super consistent, or if they are, they're not enjoying it. Maybe they are. You can, feel free to shoot me a comment and let me know if it's different. But a lot of the athletes that I see, they start to get inconsistent as they go up through the levels because of the amount of pressure that they feel coming from themselves, maybe coming from others, but mostly from themselves. So if that athlete could go out there with a July mindset of like, hey, let's just see what happens, totally open, no expectations, that is when you're going to reach what is like my holy grail of mental training, self-trust. If you are worried about expectations, if you are worried about what could go wrong, if you're worried about that one thing that it might not work out, if you're worried about what your coach says, if you're worried about the time, you're not going to be able to trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, you can't trust your training and you cannot flow. And that flow is where you have those effortless performances. They're not effortless, but they feel effortless. And it just like boom, 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 you just hit. That requires a July mindset. So if you want to have a July mindset in January or February or March, when you are in the thick of it, you have to be consistent, right? So a lot of people, they talk about, I want to compete like I practice. I just want to compete like I practice. Well, if you want to compete like you practice, you have to be consistent, right? So if you're consistent in practice, you're consistent in competition, in theory. But really, if you want to be consistent physically, you have to be consistent mentally. So if you have a July mindset and a November mindset, that's not consistent. You need to get into the mindset that allows you to flow and feel good and believe in yourself and be confident. And then that mindset stays consistent. And if you're in that mindset throughout the entire preseason, during season, postseason, repeat, that's when you are going to really be able to have exponential improvement physically because your mind is so consistent. So don't shift your thinking when season gets closer. Keep it doing what's working. And if something's not working, then figure out what's going to work. So if you feel like, okay, I really want to lock down my mindset as I'm heading into the season, then I have a free download. It's called the Sport Confidence Roadmap. It is 7 steps to unshakable sport confidence. I talk about the exact 7 steps that I take athletes through that allows them to have that self-trust. They become aware, they build confidence, and they trust themselves. So if you want to download that, you can do that for free right now, completeperformancecoaching.com/confidence. Grab a copy, check it out. There's also a quiz in there that shows you where your weak points are and helps you to figure out, which of those 7 steps maybe need the most attention. So again, completeperformancecoaching.com/confidence. Check it out and stop making those mistakes, everybody. Let's find July. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.